All right. Welcome back.
Yes.
Blackout. That blackout hour, man, where it gets real. Most dangerous show on the internet.
America's
Ian, what's
favorite
up, my
night
brother? How you
I'm
doing?
good, man. How you doing? I'm good. The Alicia Keys interview, fire. Want to congratulate y'all on that. Incredible. Shout to Don Pooh and everybody at Brooklyn Chop. But I'm good, man. Ready to get to it and shake up the internet again.
For sure. So back at it. Blackout, a show that we started to give unfiltered views and opinions on social topics, on finance, on romance, on everything outside of the realm of things that we traditionally talk about on EYL Market Mondays, different things of that nature. So thank you for everybody that has championed Blackout. Make sure you subscribe to the podcast Blackout on all podcast outlets. So if you're on the go, you can listen to it if you can't watch it on YouTube. But we're here every Wednesday at 10 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. So we back. So before we start, some quick housekeeping items. Get your tickets to InvestFest, ladies and gentlemen.
Yes.
I got this jersey on. This was actually a gift from somebody. I just opened it actually last week. We get so much.
Oh, that's fire.
So I appreciate this. This is dope. A gift that somebody had sent up. So thank you. Appreciate you. InvestFest 2024. We coming. We coming with some bombs. And
you still giving away that Rolex at InvestFest or no?
It can happen, potentially.
Anything can happen.
Anything can happen. That's a fact. Yeah. Stranger things have happened.
True indeed.
That's a fact. So we have Shonda Martin next Thursday and the last Thursday of the month. So get your credit right. Credit masterclass for EYL University. Shout out to everybody at EYL University who's been turning up. Ian, any announcements you would like to make?
Yes. If you want to get rich from the market, join Red Panda Stock Club. You can go to ianinvest.com. If you want to know where to get in, where to get out. Also, too, I've been covering a lot of trading tips on every call. So I drop about like 25 gems every call. Prices are out for those of you who are in Stock Club. Last month, I predicted to where, Tesla was going to fall to within 80 cents. If you want to get rich, join the Stock Club. If I made you money, please put yes in chat. And let's go.
Let's go.
And I'm going to give away 10,000 at InvestFest, too, on stage.
10 bands. The 10 band giveaway.
Got to give back.
You heard it here first. You heard it here first. The master.
Only right.
10 bands. Sheesh. To one person?
And one person I think could be a vibe. I ain't flying nobody out. You know what I mean? So I might as well give away something. Hey.
There you have it.
So,
there you have it. 10 bands. That's heavy. 10 bands is heavy.
Yeah. Got to get back to the people.
All right. So last week we had some callers call up. That was very interesting. A lot of people enjoyed that. So this week we want to stay in the vein, but do a little different. We had some questions that people submitted. And we picked one in particular. So from the audience, this is a question from a young man. He said, my girl and I recently broke up after I got caught on IG. What can I do to make her forget about the past and get back with her? So he said, after I got caught on IG, I'm assuming he got caught cheating on IG. That's what I would assume.
He made some mistakes, yeah.
So
I'm going shambles right now.
his girl, I guess, caught him cheating on Instagram. Mm-hmm. So what can he do to make her forget about the past and get back with her?
My boy, prayers for you. As men, we've all been here. I don't know if you can't make her forget the past. The only thing you can do is do better if you get her back and make the decision if that's what you want to do. Fellas, gotta stop lying, yo. If you gonna move around, you gotta come out the gate like, hey, you gonna be my main baby, and then I got two backups. But fellas, be careful. I don't know if y'all know because y'all may not be tuned in, but them little Facebook groups of Is This My Man in Houston, Atlanta, Miami are going crazy.
The what? Isn't my man?
Yeah, on Facebook, they got a thing where it'd be like thousands of girls. They put a picture up and be like, is anybody messing with him?
Oh, okay.
That's how you got caught. So sprinkle.
That's how you got caught. That's how he got caught.
Yeah.
So it's a community of people in different cities, and they put
Everyone.
their significant other up there, and they say that is anybody messing with him? And then somebody will come out like, yeah, I'm messing with him, and then it's like, okay, well, show me some proof, and then they show,
and they go paperwork party. 1090 Jake for the baddies, for real. It's in LA, Houston, Miami, Atlanta, you know what I mean? So, fellas, the women are getting smarter. Like, gotta be careful. Get your affairs in order, because it's summertime coming up. And if she break up with you right before the summer pop, ooh boy, you're gonna cry many a nights. So I don't know what you can do to get it back. I think women know if you're being sincere, if you are going to change. You might just have to go through the ringer for a while, to be honest. But tell her why you did it. I'm sorry, it won't happen again. But ladies, what should my guy do to get back in good graces with this woman? Shotty, what would you have him do?
Well, it's one of these things, right? Where that's crazy about that Facebook group. Once again, that just goes back to my theory.
That shit going crazy, yo.
But if you gotta go through that while you're in a relationship, right? If you gotta post your significant other on Facebook to find out if he's cheating on you, why are you even with?
Also, it could be a random too who just may like you and who may vibe. Like,
well, that's what I'm saying. I hope you're asking for some proof, but it's just that's crazy. I never heard about that before, but that's crazy. Yeah. But this goes back to another question that I would like to ask: is that can material items and money change somebody's mind if they've been cheated on? Because some high profile people, and of course there's more stuff that went into this, but we all know the story about Kobe Bryant, right? When he got caught, rest in peace, he brought his wife a $4 million ring. Jay-Z has been very vocal. He said, when y'all cheat, y'all could buy a bag. I'm paraphrasing. He said, I had to move the whole family to West Coast. So he bought a house in California, relocated. And then I think Beyonce had rapped about that too, like how much he gave her. Now, of course, that probably comes with some other stuff, therapy, and I'm sorry, but ladies,
and she's gonna question you about everybody you interacted with for the last 9 years.
Does receiving material items, is that a way to make up for cheating? What do you think, Ian?
That hasn't been my route that I've taken when I got caught up.
What have you done? What have you done?
In one case, I just apologized and said I would do different. The other ones, I just let go. Like sometimes when I was immature, to put the phone on the table and let you go through was my escape out when you wouldn't leave. Sorry.
So, when you say you apologized, did she just accept it?
No. I was like, I got called a bunch of other names other than Master Investor. Trust me.
But did you stay together?
Well, we got a little break, and then we end up rekindling later. Shout out to my baby. So sometimes it takes time to reconvene, and you got to come back a better person. You got to eat, pray, love. What's Remit's book? The eight rules of love. You got to come back and be a better person. Also, we got to have a conversation at one point. It's like, for men, you don't know this until you go through it, but having all the extra women and everybody's polyamorous, all that shit now. Having 5 or 6 women around is not the vibe, and it's going to cost you a lot of money. It's going to lose you a lot of money too. Like, you got to be careful. So, but it takes time to, go through your phases and date a bunch of people to realize like, having one good person is better than having like 1 in 3 possible okays that's around you for the wrong reason.
So, it's one of these things, right? I think the best way to I've never had to go through this, so I'm speaking from just my opinion. I think
you're smart, man. Well, I'm stupid, Joe. Why don't you be stopping me when I be telling my truth?
I think the best way to do this is just to be honest with a person, right? Like,
yep.
You know what? I made a mistake, X, Y, and Z. You just explain the situation, and then I feel like the person is either going to accept your apology or not accept your apology.
Or not.
Or they can accept your apology and not want to be with you anymore, or they can accept your apology and still want to be with you. But you can't force somebody to still be with you no matter what. Nope. Like I'm saying. Yeah. So I just feel like, what can you do? You lay out the situation. You put your best foot forward. You give an explanation. I just don't see how giving something physically it makes that any better, right? I don't know if like giving somebody a car makes you forget about this situation. Like, I just never. That's the part that I just never understood. Like, okay, if I buy you a necklace, how does that change? How does this change anything except you have a necklace?
Yeah,
right?
you'll buy a car, she go pick up her work husband. Also, she may forgive you and get her get back. Fellas, you got to be careful. If you can't handle her doing to you what you did to her, I'm not pandering, but some of y'all be acting tough and then your girls get to creeping. No good.
What Fab say? He said, my man said his girl cheated on him. He said he cheated on her too. So he said, I don't care. We ain't even.
Big facts. Big facts.
For another day.
Also, if you're gonna move around, you gotta have your shit. You can't be dusty and be a bum and don't have any motion and nothing going for like be careful.
That's a fact.
Be careful.
That is a fact. Okay, so let's talk about this. Actually comes from my mom. She actually asked me to speak about this on Blackout. Is Chivalry dead? Right. So I'm gonna play a game. I'm gonna talk about some top chivalry things, and I want to see how you, and then the audience can participate as well, right? So okay, holding the door for a woman. Do you do this every time? Do you do this sometimes? Do you do it for your significant other? Do you do it for any woman? What's the proper etiquette for holding a door for a woman?
Yeah, if we're together for sure. Like, well, even like if I see someone elderly, like I'll go out of my way to do that. But yeah, if I'm in a relationship, yeah, I'm gonna hold the door and be chivalrous. Now, if I'm just in New York and Midtown, may not. Just being honest, but for elderly, and if I'm in a relationship, yeah. But if I'm at Manhattan, nah. And plus, people in Manhattan get mad for you holding the door because then they got to run across the street real fast. So yeah, I'll hold the door.
What about strangers?
Yeah, I'm a kind person. Contrary to my online persona, I'm really nice in real life. So yeah, I'll do that.
Do you expect if you hold the door for a stranger, do you expect them to say thank you?
Or at least a head nod. That's the worst because I could have slammed the door. You know what I mean?
I mean, that's my pet peeve, especially, I hate to bring race into this, but I think it's the right thing to do to hold the door for a stranger if it's a woman, if it's reasonable, right? If you're like 100 yards away, let's not get crazy about this, right? I'm not gonna hold the elevator if you're 600 feet away. It's awkward.
Are you staring in the eye as the elevator closed though?
I want some Tupac and Juice type shit.
For real.
But if all right, if I'm opening the door for you, I think you should say thank you, especially if you're a white person, right?
Oh, they give you this?
No, I've seen it before where it's like they don't say, like, look, I'm not your doorman, right? So, like, let's not, no disrespect to any doorman, but I'm not a doorman, right? So if it's like, if I hold the door for you, and even if I was a doorman, say thank you, because this brings back trauma. This brings back emotional trauma, like that I have you, like not in my own personal life, but like deep rooted in the DNA.
Got you. Okay,
right? Like,
got you.
If I hold the door for anybody, I think they should say thank you, especially a white person. I've seen this happen before. I've seen people flip out on this, like they hold the door, no acknowledgement, like not even an eye contact,
walk right past you. Yeah.
Then I've seen dudes like, you're welcome. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, we're not doing that. Like, this isn't 1950 in Alabama. So I think etiquette goes on both ways. Definitely hold the door, but if I hold the door, you should at least say thank you, right? That's the least that you can do. All right, so the hold the door situation, that happens as long as it's a reasonable time. I'm not waiting 5 minutes. And like you said, if we're in Manhattan, I gotta go somewhere, I'm sorry. The elevator, you can catch the next one coming up. Okay, carrying bags, right? You carrying bags?
Get a context for where.
Okay. You see a woman. Let's take the relationship part out of it. You see a woman walking into a building that you're walking into, a residential building. Like
Yep.
you don't know her, but she's walking into a residential building that you may live in. Let's say you live in an apartment. She obviously probably lives in an apartment as well. And she has two grocery bags. Are you going out of your way to say, let me help you with your bags?
Not over 2 grocery bags. That's thirsty. Like, fellas, y'all gotta quit using the chivalry shit to try and get your little bullshit off and be awkward. You acting like old boy from last week. Let me clear your bags. But speaking of which, you ever read Why Women Have Sex and Orgasm All Night? Nah, bro. Just grab the two little bags and keep it moving. Now, if she's struggling, 6, 7 bags, got kids, cool. But just on the 2, nah, quit being creepy.
Well, I think so. Context is extremely important, right? If it's an old woman,
Older woman,
if it's an old woman, or like you said, if it's a mom, she got 7 different bags. I'll at least offer, hey, do you need some help? I'm not taking nobody's for you. I won't take the bags out your hand. Hey, can I help? Can I help you?
Can I take the
But here's what this is how you gotta be. This is the delicate line. If it's an attractive woman, right? If it's a young, attractive woman, dude definitely would use that as a pickup, right?
As that entry, yeah.
And then, but you could just be trying to be a good dude too. That's another part of it. You could just try to be a good dude.
Being a good dude overrated, yo.
But then they take that as you trying to talk to me, right?
Yeah.
That's a very delicate line to walk. Very delicate.
Super. You got to move. And if she didn't give you the little look away vibe, didn't give you no signals that she was interested, leave it alone. Because you don't want to get labeled a creep. Then you're going to end up on the Facebook page. Oh, your man was trying to holler at me in the elevator when I had my little Randall's bags. Nah. So.
How do you, all right. Okay. So that's touch and go. Okay. What about walking on the outside for your relationship or any woman actually that you know, a friend, girlfriend, whatever. Do you walk on the outside of the sidewalk?
In relationship, yes. If
or
is that
overrated?
I mean, the truth is, like, if we're looking at actual mechanics, if the fucking Bentley Mulsanne, it's gonna hit both of us. But I'll die first. Cool. What difference do it make? You're gonna be mangled too. For a relationship, yes, I'm gonna protect, keep space so they don't have to worry about nothing. But just a random stranger, am I like going to the outer curb on fit? No, nah. Every man for himself if I don't know you.
Car door. Are you opening the car door?
Every time.
Huh?
In a relationship, every time.
Every time.
But I'm looking to see when I get in too. Are you? What was that Bronx tale? You're gonna open the door for me too. I need reciprocation.
But I think it's sometimes it's if you're in a parking garage and it's a tight squeeze, is it really necessary for me to open?
But if that's your bae, that's when you get the love. You let me off real quick.
No, I'm just is it completely
not necessary?
Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, is it completely necessary every single moment?
No, but I think it's appreciated.
For sure.
And my thing is, like, if you're in a relationship, do all the things you would do if you were trying to take somebody else's girl while in a relationship.
Trying to take somebody else's girl. All right, last thing before we move off this chivalry thing. Are you laying a coat over a puddle for your girl to walk over?
Women don't even like walking outside when it's wet. Like, but no, I'm not taking off my blazer to lay it. Like, this ain't Disney. No, I may pick you up and we can slosh through the rain together, but nah. Hell no.
That's probably the most
egregious.
Yeah. I never in life have seen somebody put their raincoat over a puddle for somebody to walk. I just never in life, and that's
never seen it.
I would never understand why that would be necessary. Why not just walk around the puddle, right? Like, that is the definition of doing too much. Look, I'm all about chivalry, but I'm not going to ruin my coat.
No, I may give you my coat to put it like over my baby's hair or something.
Yeah, but
cool. But on the ground,
now you're doing too much. Now you've approached the realm of just doing too much.
super simp territory, and you ain't getting none. She ain't gonna rain on you not one day if you do that.
Yeah,
not gonna happen, bro. Stop it.
All right. Rules of chivalry. We've established some rules of chivalry. Chivalry is chivalry dead?
I'll do a reverse Uno. Do women even want chivalry? And most gonna say yes, but the ones that they vibe with, give attention to, aren't chivalrous. No,
damn.
I think it's dead.
Chivalry it doesn't matter anymore.
I think once you are in a deep relationship, yes, but like just on a casual trying to, like, this ain't 2005. You're not gonna walk up to a girl and dance and hand her flowers and try and sing to, like, bro, it's over with. You gotta adjust with the times, yo. This shit like Walking Dead out here. You gotta be a good person with enough bad boy traits, with your stuff in order, with motion, and be smart at the same time. Just pure chivalry. No, that's what dudes be like, yo, can I take you to dinner? Women don't even be all that hungry all the time. They've been on enough lunch and dinner dates to last them a lifetime. That shit boring, yo.
Who's really this hungry? Who's really that hungry? Can we talk about this passport situation?
Which one?
But we touched briefly on it, Market Mondays. But Americans are getting they're getting dual citizenship at highest rates possible, right? And it's still an influx of people. Actually, let's play this clip. Mike, play the clip.
Yeah, and the ultimate hedge of your risk, a record number of Americans are getting second passports to hedge their risk. That's according to Henley and Partners. The U.S. is now the largest market for applications for multiple passports and long-term visas. The American wealthy aren't giving up their American citizenship. They're just adding a second or sometimes a third or fourth. These are called passport portfolios. And just like stocks, they're designed to hedge their financial risk over multiple countries. So some of these folks are citing politics or social unrest. Others like second passports for safer business travel, especially to countries that may be hostile to the U.S.
And the idea of diversification is very well understood by wealthy individuals around what I invest into, but then it makes no sense to have one country of citizenship and residence when I have the ability to actually diversify that aspect of my life as well.
Americans' favored countries for second passports are Portugal, Malta, Greece, and Italy. Globally, a record number of millionaires are expected to migrate this year, mainly out of China, Russia, and other hotspots. The U.S. still has a net inflow of millionaires with an expected addition of 3,500 millionaires this year.
So that clip was from CNBC, and we posted it on Instagram, and it got a lot of traction and a lot of diversifying your portfolio. We talk about a lot as far as investments, but what is really going on? Why is so many people getting dual citizenship and getting passports in other countries?
Number one, if we're going to be very honest, the days of America being the great country that it once was, those days have passed. I think the most important trade for the next 5 years is understanding what country and what cities are going to thrive internationally to be ahead of the curve. Kind of like how we did with Market Mondays. Like before Market Mondays came out, there was no one black that did a weekly show about investing and trading. And then it made a pathway, right? So when I start seeing quality of life, let's just take Mexico. Food is better, quality of life is better. Contrary, outside of the cartel rural lands, feel safer. You feel more welcomed there. And it's a lot of infrastructure being placed there. I think because of COVID revealed a lot and the economy is not as strong as it should be, I think it would be a mistake over the next 5 years to not look to have another country as a backup plan or a hedge to be able to thrive. You can look at it, LA on a downslide, New York has recovered, Miami is doing well, but cost of living has went up dramatically, inflation has went up dramatically. And truth be told, like America doesn't, because of lack of infrastructure or the money being deployed or dispersed the right way, America doesn't look as beautiful as some other countries. Like when we went to Italy, Italy looked fake how beautiful it was. Quality of life better, food, wait, the gelato in that little town square better than all the food I had at STK ever. So I think a lot of people are realizing that there are more opportunities outside of the country than in. And it's best to invest elsewhere.
Yeah. So what's your top 3 places that you if you had to move today, what would your top 3 places be?
Mexico 1, probably UAE number 2, and probably Ghana 3rd, or West Africa 3rd. What about you?
Yeah, Dubai for sure. You know, I just feel like Dubai probably the closest to
Mirrors.
perfect that you're gonna find.
Yeah.
I'm just being honest with you, right? As far as like, there's no poverty, there's no crime, there's no litter, extremely high tech, everything you need.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's no place is perfect, but it's as close to perfect for a visitor, as you can find, right?
Yep.
That's just my
wealthy population.
Yeah.
Laws are strict if you act up.
Yeah, Dubai for sure. Yeah. Ghana is a place I really like a lot. I feel like, they still have a lot more development that they need to do, but it's a lot of opportunity. The cuisine is amazing. Probably the best food place that I've been to. They have so many different restaurants, and the vibe is just crazy. The food.
Yeah, vibe is dope.
And then, the third place for me is difficult, but I like London. I feel like London is a good place.
London's a vibe
to set up shop because it's central. It's in Europe. You can get to Paris quickly. You can get to Italy quickly. Yeah. You can play that whole Euro play. And then it's not far from the Middle East. It's not far from Africa. It's kind of
center of finance.
But London's a vibe. So much stuff happening. Finance, you won't miss a beat. Everything is, you're still kind of in that American vibe without being in America. So that would probably be my top 3 right now.
Yeah, I like it. And everyone listening, please have a backup city out of the country that you could go to if things don't. And there's a reason why Apple, Microsoft, Google, all these companies are international companies, and they're looking at India, Dubai, Mexico. And it's probably the last time I'm gonna talk about it because I don't want everybody copying it, like overpopulate where I am. But you need a backup city for sure.
So, speaking of that, what are some tips?
And really quick, this is different than the passport bro movement. Y'all need to learn how to get women in the United States and quit trying to be creepy while you taking old girl bags up. Y'all not Lil Meech. You can't help your cousin with her groceries. This is different than the passport bro movement. I see y'all be making jokes like, "Oh, you Mexico?" No, I'm not in Mexico for that. I get real life. Okay.
What if you did? What if to? I'm not totally familiar with the passport bro movement, but what if some people that say, okay, I'm going to a different country to find a significant other because the culture is more subservient. It's less of a headache as far as, different things that I might have to deal with as far as toxicity that comes with in America. America's a toxic place across the board.
Absolutely.
Right? So what do you say about that for people that want to go international to find a wife or their husband? Who knows? Like, what's your take on that?
So they're gonna find a wife that's in a pure environment and bring her back to the US?
Is that defeating the purpose or?
Absolutely, because then you're gonna bring her to a toxic environment and put her in the Bronx, and then she's gonna go get some homegirls, and then your homegirls are gonna ruin her. Cool. You have something pure, and then you dropped it in the mud and picked. Shout out to all the women in the Bronx. Appreciate you. I don't want no smoke. But now all of a sudden, your pure little thing that you found in Colombia or DR or wherever is no longer pure. She probably was not pure there. But if you bring her here and she get involved in the customs and routines here and be on Instagram getting all the tea, she gonna turn into every other baddie. So that's what I'm saying. Like, if you want to do that and go have fun, I think it's better to build yourself up, work on your game, work on yourself to be able to get a baddie here. Don't count if you like. That's like playing 2K. If I tell you, Rashad, man, I dropped 62 last night. You like, where? I was like, 2K. That's not real life. It's not real life. It hit different when you get it off your own merit.
But you can still get it off your own merit internationally. You're referring to, you're referring to prostitution, right? Somebody,
yes, that's what I'm referring to.
Somebody paying for a bride. They have that. They have services for that as well. But what I'm saying,
or paying for the extracurriculars on the strip.
Yeah, for sure. But what I'm saying is,
but like an actual wife there.
If you go with the intention of meeting some, or not even the intention, but it's like you go. This happens. No, this happens all the time. Military people, they go and they might be in Korea, right, for 3 years, and then they find somebody, and then they marry them, and then they establish citizenship. They bring them back to America. They start a family. That happened. This is a real conversation. This thing's actually really
it happened in my family a lot. A couple of my relatives had dual citizenship and dual families.
Yeah,
it happens.
I mean, because we do have to acknowledge that cultures are different, not just for women, men also, right? Men in America are different from men outside of America. Women in America are different from women outside of America. That's reality. You realize that when you travel. You realize that when you travel and you start to interact with different people and you start to interact with different customs and cultures, and you say, okay, now, this is different. Like, you know what I'm saying? It's different. It's different.
Hey, fellas, for those of y'all with a bad attitude, if you take your girl to London, them London boys with the little nice accents and being nice and chivalrous, ladies, same thing. If you arguing with your man and they go to London, I remember being in the lobby. Don't even touch your rubbish, girl.
Don't touch your rubbish. Don't touch your rubbish. Don't even think about touching your
rubbish. You shouldn't even be touching it. Oh, okay.
You shouldn't be touching your rubbish.
Jesus.
Lad, what are you doing?
For real. You got to travel, step your game up. So, but if you're going to go actually find a wife, but you got to find a way to not insulate her, but to keep her away from the evils of America. And I think some of the toxic things that we see, they get talked about, they get pushed, is by design to keep the families from being one unit. Like if we look back from even when we were kids, families don't bond as much as they used to. So I think all of that is by design. So I think there's some cultural desire to be away and off the grid for that reason as well too.
All right. So this brings to the next topic: tips on traveling internationally or solo travel, right? What's your international travel tips? This is helpful for people. What's your international travel tips and what's your solo travel tips?
International travel tips. I think you should map out the places that you want to go. First, I think you should also have like a community, even if you're going by yourself. They got a bunch of IG pages and WhatsApp groups for like communities in certain cities. So whenever I go to Playa, there's like a community I'm tapped into. Same in Cancun. I don't think you need to be out there solo by yourself. Definitely turn your location on with your family and friends. Get an international plan in case data gets slow on your phone. And I think you need to map out like what's the purpose of the trip. So sometimes I'll go to recharge, relax. Sometimes I'll go to vibe, but I think you need to build communities where you are because it makes the trip more fun. I'm pro solo trips because I think every person needs to travel some on their own, but you still need people to interact with and be familiar with some of those areas for sure. Shades are a must. DJI Pocket to capture content is a must, but I think knowing where you're going to go and then go. For me, like a person, I'll go through a city and explore and walk around for 4 or 5 hours, get the lay of the land. And then after that, like I think you'll be good to go. But don't be going to don't be going to DR trying to go to the little putaria vibes and think that you're not gonna be okay, yo. Like go and have a good time.
Yeah, I've never traveled solo before, but I know that's the thing. That is a thing of traveling solo. It's always would seem awkward to me though. Me personally, like. I don't know. I one thing that I try to always do is establish good relationships with people on the ground.
You have to.
What I've realized is that your trip will be determined by the people that you're with and the people that actually know the lay of the land, right? Yep. So your experiences going to be determined by the person that's actually showing you around, that's hosting you.
Yeah.
Very vitally important to establish strong relationships with local people.
Mm-hmm.
How you do that, that's not a direct answer to that question. But I mean, you know, like for us, we've been able to have a lot of great relationships, right? So when we touch down in London, we're going to hit our guy Dio up, right? We're going to hit
Dio.
Tape London. We're going to hit the guys up. We're going to hit, you know, Daniel out there. When we in Toronto, of course, we're going to hit Tweed. We're going to hit, you know, Daniel again. We're going to hit, you know, all of the guys in London. When we in Ghana, you know, we're going to hit our guy Kwame. We're going to hit Alvin. We're going to hit all the guys that help us navigate through that situation in Ghana, right? Everywhere that we go to, we have people on the ground that we've established relationships with that make our experiences 10 times better than they were. But you got to reciprocate that, right? So it's like, show them love. When they come to New York, we try to, you know, host them if we can. We can go out. We can do whatever. If it's an Invest Fest, if they come to Atlanta for Invest Fest, then, you know, come hang out with us, come to the club. You know, we got you, different things of that nature. Vitally important. I can't stress that enough. You gotta establish relationships with locals, even if you just meet locals while you're out there and just staying.
Absolutely,
shit like that. Like that's very vitally important. But
be kind. That's the big part. Even in meeting the locals, like when I first started going to Playa, I would talk to everybody I could, whether they knew Spanish or not. And then eventually they got used to seeing me. Then I would build a relationship, and they would kind of like guide me through. And that's when I got cool with like some of the people who in other worlds, like, hey, stay away from this area. Like in Playas, like once you get past the 60s, like you're in the hood. Like even the police will tell you, you're in 72 and something happened, we're not coming to get you. Cool. Stay in the tourist zones. All right, cool. I appreciate it. Because I was getting in, I was like 63rd and something.
The 60s.
Yeah, Migo, mi negrito, where you going? Too far. I'm just walking. They're like, go back. I'm like, okay, I got you.
Gringo.
Appreciate you. Yeah, for real. You doing too much. It was dark too.
But yeah, but the solo travel thing is a lot of women I see do solo travel.
They don't really be solo though. They be solo like on the flight when they take the picture out the window. When they touch down, though. Groove back, eat, pray, love. You know what I mean? Trying to catch a oh, fellas, if your girls go on that Jamaica trip with our homegirls and get rubbed down on that little raft, finito. Oh, I didn't have service. I'm sorry, I couldn't talk. She's getting service. Getting service. All them little girl trips, Vegas, Miami, Punta Cana, no, Tulum, definitely not Tulum. Fellas, you letting your girls go on a girl trip?
Are you letting your girl go on a girl trip?
You'll be single, living single. Khadijah,
she can't go on a girl trip.
Living single.
But what's the problem with going on a girl trip?
We know what happens on a girl trip, just like we know what happened at the bachelor and bachelorette parties.
Do we know? I gotta push back on that though. I think that the majority of girl trips, I think the majority, and granted, I've never been in a girl trip, obviously, right? So I don't know exactly. I think that the majority of girls that go on girl trips, they're not on it like that, right? They literally, a lot of girls, they just want to just go have a vibe. They want to eat different restaurants. They want to, you know, go to different. I don't think that.
Then that mezcal kick in and like Kendrick, bang.
What I would suspect is that there's one out the group that's
usually two, dos Ekis.
Potentially.
And then they could influence, you know what I mean? So.
Well, this goes back to a broader question of how important is it to curate to the right vibe, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because if you're around a lot of negativity, negative influences, then that makes this way. But I feel like if your girl is that impressionable, she shouldn't be your girl anyway.
Yeah.
But it is important to communicate if you have issues with her friends, though, because you don't want that type of energy. It's toxic and it's a pollution. But I do think that girls, I think the majority of girls that go on girl trips are not on it for that type of time.
Majority, yes. Are there a significant portion though, above 33% that be on demon time when they
above 33? The 33.
Come on.
What's your
You
thought?
see, you get to travel. Go ahead.
Put it in chat. Now I was gonna say put it in chat.
Yeah.
So you
And if you get to moving around, Cancun, Tulum, Playa, Isla Mujeres, like dog, I be in Mexico, right?
Yeah, you seen it,
dog.
Seen
You texting your babe, but you're not there. It's another reason you got to take on some of these trips. So I'll be like, yo, because if the only way she's getting out to be able to travel is with her homegirls, not
So
good. But I've seen it.
No, it happens. No, it happens for sure. It definitely happens. So you're not
Turks.
So you wouldn't let your girl go on a girls trip.
She can do whatever she wants to do, but there's consequences for her.
If your girl goes on a girls trip, she's not your girl anymore.
Well, we can all vibe together as a group. Cool. And I go on enough vacations. You don't even need to go on no girl trip.
Can you go on a guys trip?
Bong. I really like that. Yeah, but I'm gonna be good when I'm on a guy trip.
so you could go. So you could go on a guys trip, right? But your girl can't. Girl.
You got me last week, yo. I know it's not fair. It's not the same. And y'all, go ahead. Hey, y'all clip this up so they can kill me on Shade Room. These are just jokes written by 85 South. No man should tell a woman what she can and cannot do.
No, for sure. It's not you not telling, but it's the relationship. That's one of your non-negotiables. If you can do whatever you want, but if you go on a
you do whatever the hell you want.
If you go on a girl's trip, we're no longer in a relationship. But you can go on a guy's trip and there's no problem.
But I don't be really like if I go somewhere with Ty to celebrate his birthday or we go somewhere, it's usually for business. Also, too, like when I go to Mexico and Playa.
How you celebrate a birthday that's for business?
You gotta listen. What you say? Well, we don't do vacations, everything a business trip. Content in here, brainstorm here.
I respect it. I respect it. I respect it. All right. That's an interesting perspective.
But also, too, like there's trust there because I act right. Like I'll tap in with my baby while I'm there. What you doing? Like, cool. You know, that's where the trust comes in.
That's where the trust.
Clean up crew. Yeah, what's up?
That's what
we're getting better.
Staying on this travel theme, Antarctica. We haven't fully covered this Antarctica. Eventually, we're going to cover Antarctica.
Yeah, we're going to cover it.
I'm waiting for that. But until then, what are some other locations you have suspicions or raise your conspiracy antennas?
Yes, a few of them. Alex Jones showed us one back in the day, Bohemian Grove. That would be one.
Where's it at? Bohemian Grove?
I don't know exactly where it is, but that's where like all the elites allegedly used to celebrate other activities, if you will. Room 38 in North Korea is another one where there's been some occult like conspiracies, if you will.
Room 38?
North Korea, y'all go Google it. I don't want no problem with Kim Jong-un and nobody over there, but that's one you got to look at. I'm gonna tread on this lightly and go. The Vatican Library. Cool.
Da Vinci Code.
Yes. Snake Island in Brazil. Because if I was to have a moat, let's say I have a castle, right? And I'm Mark Zuckerberg, shout out to Zuckerberg. And I build a castle. A pretty cool way to make sure nobody got to me is put an island of snakes with 7,000 snakes around me where I can, you know, get all my little crazy shit off, hypothetically, right? And then that seed vault in Norway that has like the real seeds stored away, and these are places you cannot like visit. So the thing that's fascinating about Antarctica, the Vatican vault, the seed vault in Norway, you can't go visit even people that have like a higher government clearance. So it's always interesting when those places are publicly known, but you can't see the inner workings of them.
And Bohemian Grove is located in California for Monte Rio, California.
Okay.
Okay. That's interesting.
They have the big owl structure up there. Shout out to Drake. I know you're going through a loss right now. But yeah, they had the Molech structure up there. Y'all, you can Google it. That's kind of what made Alex Jones famous, was the him sneaking into there. Now they don't do the practices there anymore as much since it got revealed, but like Bohemian Grove has been confirmed, as well as Aliens and Area 52. And I want to get Bob Lazar on the show too. He's a huge alien expert.
So Bohemian Grove, founded in 1878, it belongs to a private gentlemen's club known as the Bohemian Club.
Mm-hmm. Not many of us are there.
Skull and Crossbones. We got to talk about Skull and Crossbones one time before this blackout season is over.
If I can't go crazy about Diddy, we definitely not talking about that. No, fuck, I don't. Whoever was not Skull and Bones got assassinated.
Whoever was not, you said?
Go do your Googles.
Google.
Like that nigga, bong. Okay, you better quit playing. JFK got talking that shit. Out of here. Out of here. So,
Skull and Crossbones. Hit the like button.
Speaking of which, your Illuminati paperwork came in yet?
Pending. Pending. How you feel about Kai Cenat? Is it Kai Cenat or Kai Cent?
Kai Cenat. Well, that's what I say.
Cenat. How you feel about Kai Cenat? They Aiden Ross, I believe, called them on the live stream and invited them to Michael Rubins' all-white July 4th party. And he declined the invitation. It kind of went viral on social media. What's your thoughts on that?
Him declining the invite?
Just the whole thing.
I wouldn't want to have to bunny hop either. I think Michael Rubin's a dope entrepreneur, but sometimes to get in these circles, people do things against the integrity and morals that I don't like. I'm not trying to bash me because he's had some allegations he got to fight. But I don't care what the bet is. I'm not bunny hopping for you on camera.
Shout out to Meek. He's had a rough year. So he's actually a good guy. Meek Mill is actually a good guy. So
I've heard.
You know what? I think Meek, I just think that he says the wrong. It's situational. He just puts himself in.
You can tell that machine is no longer behind him with PR and assisting the brand how it used to be.
Yeah. He puts himself in bad situations sometimes. But I thought the Kai thing was interesting. I think he's actually a genius, and I think that phone call was set up. My personal opinion. And I think that he did this purposely to play to a theme of anti. Cat Williams kind of set the tone, right, this year.
Yeah.
Of anti, anti-establishment, anti-da-da-da-da-da. So I think that it was actually brilliant for Kai to do that publicly, because only thing you're going to get is support. Like, oh, he's going against it. He ain't with the Illuminati. He not with getting hugged from behind sandwiches. The
hug sandwich, crazy.
Ridiculous. So I think that it was actually a brilliant move on his behalf to actually orchestrate that live publicly. He goes against the grain. Because, it's crazy. Like, a lot of these, I've heard, I heard this from reliable PR sources. Celebrities have, they damn near begged to get into Michael Rubin's.
To get in. Yeah, I heard that too.
That's a fact.
Like, they grovel.
Begged, yo.
Yeah. Whatever.
So.
Whatever I can do to be there, please.
But you know who started the all-white party?
Puff?
That boy Diddy. He was doing the all-white parties at the Hamptons, I believe. Right?
Damn, okay. Yeah,
that was probably over 20 years ago.
Yeah, 20, 30 years ago, yeah.
All-white party. But so it's just crazy just to kind of see it, the evolution of it now with Mike Rubin doing this. And I just always think it's interesting when white people are that interested in Black culture. And shout out to Mike Rubin. I'm sure he's a great guy. I haven't personally met him before, but I know he's done a lot of work with Reform and Meek Mill. So I don't have anything against him. Like I said, I don't know, but
isn't he just doing what all the other label heads have done? Use Black equity, Black brand ambassadors to build your thing up and then sell it off. Yeah,
for sure.
Yeah.
In a nutshell. But it's interesting, like I said, because I just feel like a lot of times when people will have a strong interest in Black culture, that Black culture starts and stops with athletes and entertainers.
As
Right?
it should, because if I get anybody who's smart, I won't be able to get the bullshit off that I want to do. But if I get the rappers and athletes who want to be next to me, and it builds my business up. Let's say I was white and I had all the entertainers come out for a Red Panda party every year, and it drives the valuation up, then I sell it. If I help one, I can say, well, I helped him with prison reform in Indiana. Cool. He's a smarter, if we're going to use the word vulture, he is a smarter version of like what Vlad wants to do.
Vlad's he's having a rough couple weeks too.
Rough time. You gotta quit talking crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's only so long fake thugs can pretend.
Would you go to the Mike Rubin party?
Would I go?
Yeah.
So it's interesting because you know, you look at it from a few different perspectives, right? You look at it like at this point, is going more harmful than not going, right? That's why I think Cenat looked at it, because I want to make this about like a business case study.
Yeah.
So it's like pros and cons, right? The pros of going is that you'll be in an environment with a lot of celebrities and rich people, right? That's never a bad thing. That's not always necessarily the most beneficial thing either, though, because just because you're in an environment with a bunch of celebrities, that doesn't necessarily mean that you're going to actually get anything from it, right? Yeah. I'm just being honest. I'm trying to give people information here because I've been in rooms with a lot of celebrities. You'll probably know a few people that you just know from already that may not be celebrities, managers, stuff like that. And those are the most important people anyway. The managers, PR,
security,
those are always more important than celebrities anyway.
Yeah.
But then it's like, okay, now if you go and you get caught in a compromising position like Little Baby, and shout out to Little Baby, he's one of my favorite. That's his album right there.
Yeah.
But I don't think his career ever really recovered. Right? No. And it's like, how do you quantify how much damage one photo does to your career? It's hard. It's hard to, right? So
I mean, he also could have just let them not hug him.
No, for sure. But I'm just saying, like, let's say if you stand right there, right, and somebody just comes from behind you and bear hugs you, what can you do? Right?
But
I'm just saying hypothetically.
Got you.
I'm just saying, I'm just using this as a hypothetical. Anything, I don't know the context because I wasn't there. But I'm just saying, like, if somebody just if I'm standing with my back turned and I just get, you know, blindsided by somebody that just comes and gives me a bear hug and I'm looking back or whatever, I'm like, what the fuck? Like,
but would you look happy in the photo though?
I don't know the full context. That's what I'm saying. I don't know the full context, right? We don't know the full context, but we know the photo, right? So it's like, it's really interesting how you have to kind of think of these things now, right? Because it's like for you, for instance, right? Let's say that you got invited to Donald Trump's house, right?
Okay.
Now, do you take that invitation or do you not take that invitation?
Nah.
You don't take the invitation? Okay. If you get in, if you have an interview with Donald Trump, do you interview Donald Trump?
We could do it Zoom or StreamYard.
Why not do it in person? See, I'm taking the Trump interview. I'm taking the Trump interview in person because we interviewed the vice president, right? So I feel like this is but
the vice president moral compass is much different than Trump's moral compass.
But I understand, but I feel like black people are always held to a different standard than white people, right? Because Tucker Carlson could interview Vladimir Putin. He got a lot of pushback, but
I'm so mad we didn't think of that, y'all.
He's not looked at like he's canceled, right? Like if you work on CNBC, you interview Joe Biden, you interview Donald Trump, everybody knows it's just business. Nobody's looking at Jim Cramer if he interviews Donald Trump or if he interviews Joe Biden like, damn, you sold out, I hate you. They understand that it's just business. It's politics. You're a journalist. Your job is to interview people that are important. right? Now, if we did it, if Earn Your Leisure does it, if you do it, if we do it on Market Mondays, we're going to get called a sellout. We're going to get called a puppet. How much money did they pay you? It's election time. They trying to get vote. I mean, of course, it's election time. They trying to get votes. That's the whole point. That's why they're doing interviews, right?
Yeah.
But that doesn't necessarily mean that you've compromised your integrity just because you've taken the interview.
Yeah.
Right.
And plus, if we got a bag from a politician, I would have told y'all and spread the wealth. Now, there's a number I would entertain from Trump, but it's high and mighty. I need 5.5, 6.5 billion, something like that.
6.5 billion for what?
To do some business. So I'll endorse you 6.5, and I'll spread that shit all through the community. so get a car. You get a car.
If Trump gave 6.5 billion for an endorsement, that's crazy. That's impossible. That's impossible.
Okay, we're gonna be real or not?
Yeah, it's blackout. We gotta be real.
Give me some of that money that you got from burying your ex-wife in that cemetery at Mar-a-Lago there.
Okay, but
yeah,
when you
send me some of the aid money y'all send everywhere else, but you can't send to American citizens while they're hurting.
No, I'm with you.
You gotta have a price. Yeah,
but they're not gonna pay somebody $6 billion for an endorsement, right? They wouldn't even pay Taylor Swift $6 billion for an endorsement.
There's other things I can make happen that Taylor Swift can't have. I keep arguing. If I was president, I don't know why, since we've helped so many people and that crystal ball that I have, while Americans are in dire need, why they have not tapped in to have us make more Americans money. The country's in shambles. Now in Dubai, they're doing some of this. They have their infrastructure plan, and like you said, playing the Sims, they figured that part out for certain parts of their community. And it goes to show because they don't have two other candidates right now. They're waiting for The Rock to announce that he's Republican and he'll run. So I get it, but I think there's a way in business for endorsement alone. No, but there's some ways to get some return on it for sure.
Let me ask you this. Do you think that TikTok is potentially trying to shut down TikTok because they want to access information to certain people? Is that what they're doing? Is this an
I believe so. Because the thing is, there's things that you can learn on TikTok that you cannot, that the American education system does not give you. A lot of the conspiracy theories and how to do things and DIY is really big. I wish Instagram would include that. I know they talked about the STEM and all that, but I wish more of that content was pushed forward on Instagram. And if they backed them into a wall, I thought it was really interesting. TikTok said, I'll sell the assets, but not the actual algorithm. That's where all the money is in the actual algorithm. You can't block certain things or force a sale. People are going to find a way around it. But it also goes to show even the politicians who were trying to block it that want to be involved in buying it on the VC side. If it's so bad for the country, why do you want it in your portfolio? So I think people are waking up too fast, and COVID really tore the lid off of a lot of issues because people had time to think. What's most dangerous in the country is unity, us doing well financially, and us learning secrets that we were not supposed to know. We weren't supposed to know how to invest in the market this easily. Now a lot of things are starting to be revealed. They're on Nancy Pelosi apps every week about how much money her and her husband makes. It looks strange. But a lot of secrets are starting to be revealed, and a lot of that came from TikTok. So I think that's one of the reasons you want to. That's how Gary Webb, God rest his soul, got in trouble, revealing information in Mexico and in cartel land. A lot of times when reporters are given exclusive information about the inner workings of the cartel, they get unalived.
Yeah.
Media is not for the people, it's for the propaganda of the empire. So.
I think so. I think just social media in general has become, and when you see people getting kicked off of social media, right, because of what they post in, social media has cut through. The news is bogus. Every news program is fake. Every single news program is fake propaganda. And you realize that more and more when you start to see real stuff on social media, right? Mm-hmm. So it's they're losing control of the people because they just can't tell them anything and have them believe it, right? Yep. And it's like that's dangerous to the power structure of not only America, but for the whole entire world. So social media in general, TikTok is just the most popular platform amongst young people. But you know, they say like, okay, it's disinformation, but it's crazy that the number one argument for social media is disinformation. I've never heard any argument for the news of disinformation when I'm watching it every single day. Like I listen to, like, my parents watch the news. I go over there and I'm just listening to the stuff that they're saying, and I know how biased it is, right? So it's like, well, what makes one disinformation better than the other disinformation? And who's to say what is disinformation and what's not disinformation, right? You're not a credible source. The people that are saying this is disinformation is not credible. The government is not credible. That's been proven. Media.
Allegedly.
No, that's been proven. Right? Like, I'm just saying, as far as government has had corruption since the beginning, right? That's just, these are just unrefutable facts. I'm not saying that every single person in government is bad or that the entire political system is bad, but it's not a perfect system. It's had corruption since the very beginning, and it's been proven to sway public opinion since the very beginning. So we can't trust it. We can't trust the government as a whole. I'm not saying like I'm saying like the idea of government. You can't trust government. You can't trust media. Definitely not big media, for sure. Right? There's been numerous exposés to show you how corrupt the media is and who's running media, and everybody has their own personal agenda. That's human nature. Yeah. So why would I rely on these sources to tell me that something is untrustworthy? Well, you're untrustworthy. So I'm not trusting somebody that's untrustworthy. I can't trust a liar. Once you've been proven as a liar, you're trying to tell me that somebody else is a liar. Well, I don't trust you. So your word doesn't mean anything to me. So social media in general, I think is changing how people view truth. It's changing exposure on different things that we get to see, we're getting to see in real time, that we never had the ability to see things in real time before. And it's changing people's views and minds on different things. So I definitely think that limiting TikTok, that's not the only part of it, but it's definitely a part of it that they want to portion. 100%. And I think just social media in general, when you see people getting kicked off of Instagram, when you see pages, all of this stuff is done intentionally. So it's like, if it was really, you know, an open market, freedom of speech, you can say whatever you want. Yeah. Right. Yeah. It can't be you can say whatever you want on certain areas, because you could say whatever you want if you're a drill artist. There's no consequences for that at all. There's no censorship at all. Right. At all. Anything. You could say you want.
That's because they're targeting our communities.
Well, that's my whole point. Right. Yeah. So you can't say, okay, well, because the argument is that it's freedom of speech until it becomes dangerous. Well, it wasn't dangerous when you said you was going to spray the block up, when you was going to blow up the building, when you was going to take the dude's girl and impregnate her and do all that. That wasn't dangerous, right? So that argument doesn't hold any weight. It's when it's inconvenient to your lives. That's when it becomes dangerous. It's not about freedom of speech as long as it doesn't infringe on human rights. No. It's freedom of speech as long as it's not inconvenient to your agenda and to your propaganda. As soon as it becomes dangerous and impedes on your agenda and your propaganda, then we have to pull the rug from this, because we can't have this happen.
Proceed with caution. If you were a real estate developer, would it benefit you if I put drill music in the cities in which that I want to take over downtown the most?
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. So I keep bringing this up for a reason. I love rap music, but sometimes this is being used. And I wish we could open up the books on some of these labels to see what they own. I got a little theory they operate as an index too, and they own a lot more than just music catalogs. For sure.
Yeah, for sure. Can you speak on weathering through storms in life? I know this is an important topic for a lot of people. Everybody goes through something, And I'm sure there's people that's currently going through something right now that's maybe watching the show. So how do you weather through storms in life? And, especially when things don't go according to plan. Like you plan, and then it doesn't go according to your plan. You get disappointed, you get discouraged, you give up. Like how are you able to weather through storms?
Yeah, I think the first thing is you have to lean on your faith. I think you got to believe in some form of high power, pray, meditate. Secondly, always lean back on your vision. Like it took a while for even Market Monday to become the success that I wanted it to be. And I still think that we can be 15 times bigger, but like I'm learning that the storm is a part of the process of life. And if you can't weather that, you really don't want the thing that you say that you want as bad as enough. I thought this was a great question, but sometimes a person will say, well, things have not gone right for 2 years, 3 years. And I'm like, man, not till you get 5 or 6 years in, you may not get the traction that you want. And also, are you working diligently enough at it? Do you have systems in place to make it work? And also, sometimes you may be in the wrong field, wrong relationship, wrong setting. You may have to change your environment in order to get things to work out. But no one, contrary to popular belief on Instagram, no one's happy on 100 every single day. You got to produce when you're tired, upset, happy, break up, drop. Like, I think you need a system for that. And I think a lot of times when people go through disaster, they'll fall off of their routine, and then it'll take them 6 months to get back into it. And now you're starting all over again. So like routine has helped me a hell of a lot.
Yeah.
What about you?
It's one of these things where you just gotta, stay even keel. I feel like, just don't get too high, don't get too low.
Yep.
And expect the disappointment at the beginning.
Absolutely. That's a great point.
Expect the disappointment in the beginning. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like when people do all kinds of weird stuff. Like at this point, I'm not really surprised by anything because I've already experienced it. So I'm just like, all right, it's whatever. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like
politics as usual.
Yeah, politics as usual. Like, but I think always just stay low. Like, just stay low. Don't get too crazy happy. Don't get too excited. Don't tell too many people. That's another thing. Don't tell too many different people yet, because that's going to be even more embarrassing, right? When you got to tell people, then it doesn't work out. Then you got to kind of, just stay in your vibe, stay to yourself.
Yeah.
If it doesn't work out, it wasn't meant to be. It was a learning experience. If it does work out, God bless. God is the greatest. But we just going to keep working because we still got more to accomplish, right? I think that's been like my thing is just always just chill, like stay in pocket. Don't get too crazy, because when you get too emotional either direction, then it's going to be harmful for you.
It's a loss. Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you believe that everything, what you say, will happen if it's meant to be? Do you think you can control or kind of bend the universe to make something happen based on your output?
I think that, the power of the mind is real.
Absolutely.
I'm a firm believer in manifestation, for sure. Because I've seen it happen. I've seen it happen with us. I've seen it happen over and over again, right? Where it's like, I feel like if you really fully commit to something, you locked in, you have a vision for it.
You put it out there. Yep.
You attract. I think you attract. It's like life is like a magnet, right?
Yep.
Like if you put a magnet around things, it's going to pick that thing up, right? Mm. Now, it could be something that is negative, and then the magnet will pick it up because you're close. You're in close proximity to it, and you're focused on it, and you've actually looked. Or it could be something that's positive, and it'll pick it up, right? So for me, that's why I always focus on. I try to focus on positivity. I don't want to focus too much on negativity. I don't want to, put myself in an environment where because you can attract that. Like you look at Pac.
Yeah,
he rapped about death a lot, right? He rapped about his demise a lot. And I feel like in certain ways, he kind of attracted
it. Yeah.
Biggie Smalls, his first album was called Ready to Die. Second album was called Life After Death. He rapped about that a lot, right? And I feel like he kind of attracted that, even in a weird way. And it's like, rest in peace, Nip. But it's eerie.
Eerie.
His last song with Khaled, on a song where he was like, hate gang banging. He said, hate gang banging, some it get you all day. Like he kind of predicted
alluded
to his demise, right? So it's like, damn, like it's crazy. Like, you know what I mean? So it's just like you start to look at these things and it's like, are these coincidences?
Mm-hmm.
Right? Are these coincidences? Or is this something that, you know, you have to actually just be mindful of every single thing? You got to train your brain. You almost got to train your brain to think positive, because we live in a world that's full of negativity. And then we're in environments that's full of negativity. We on social media, all we see is toxic arguments. And then you got all kinds of people that want to argue with you, people that want to pick fights with you, people that, you know, constantly want to engage in negativity with you all day, whether it's somebody you're in a relationship with, business partner, ex-friend, family member. Is, you know, you look at your phone, you might get a text, 3 paragraphs, you already know what that's about, right? So it's like there's so much negativity that's in our life. We gotta work to be positive
diligently.
It's not easy to be positive, right? You gotta work to be positive. So that's, you gotta work to make sure that you're in an environment that's not toxic. You gotta work to train your brain to not consume too much negativity. You got to work to train your brain to think about how you can better yourself. What's next? What are you attracting? Business, personal, spiritual, family, growth. And it never stops. It's ongoing. It's like it's not like you do something one time and then you're good for the rest of your life. It's an ongoing
practice.
Like the biggest battle that you ever going to fight in life is the battle with yourself. It's not the battle with your ops. The biggest battle that you ever gonna fight in life is the battle with yourself, because that's every day. You're not gonna fight with your ops every single day. Even your worst enemy in the world is gonna take one day off. They're gonna take one day off. They might be sick. They might be on a vacation. But the battle that you fight with yourself is every day, from the time you wake up to the time that you go to bed, right? And that's a constant battle and it's a hard battle to fight, because you're not even aware that you're in a battle, right? You're not even aware. You just, before you know it, you just consumed your brain with so much negativity and so much that it's already taken over and it's already winning. You don't even know it's winning. You don't even know it's winning until now. You just, before you know it, you sleeping in late, you smoking every day, you drinking every day, you gossiping, you talking about people, you fighting.
Escape life.
It spiraled out of control very quickly, but without you even knowing it. It's like an invisible fight that you don't even know you're fighting. So you just gotta stay positive, man. Gotta stay positive. Gotta have goals. Gotta stay working. That's my thing. Like, stay working. No matter what you're doing, just always work. Work towards something, right? And then just get out the way. Like, get out the way. Like, sometimes it's okay to not be in the mix, to not be fully involved in everything. Like, yo, just chill. Just get out the way, man.
Yeah. Speaking of making magic, I had a question from somebody. What's the blueprint to making a successful media company in this new era?
Man, it's a lot, but
it's ever evolving.
You got to have multiple verticals when we talk about new age media. You know, I mean, of course, the traditional way that media companies make money is through advertisement and brand sponsorships. But you can't fully rely on that, especially if you're a Black media company, right? So how do you have alternative streams of income? Whether that's through subscription. A lot of people now are doing Patreon and subscription based. They put in content behind paywalls. That's become extremely popular with podcasters. You see that with Joe Budden. You see that with, you know, Mandy B and them, like, you know, that's become very popular. So you can have a subscription-based model. You know, your subscription-based model is your investment platform, Red Panda. Our subscription-based model is our, you know, multi-leveled educational platform, EYL University. But you got to have some level of, I think, subscription that complements free content. I think that's important, right? That's one way. Of course, ads are important. So you want to make sure that you establish good relationships with, you know, different people in corporate, constantly nurture those relationships. You want to have relationships with people who their job is to actually bring ad revenue in. That's one of the most important people that you can have on your team. Something that Dame had told us early on, like, go to the different, like, once you get into the door and you start to see that people that are selling ads, like, there's people that get paid to sell ads to networks, make relationships with those people, try to poach those people, right? Or try to at least have those people, work contract for you, or just learn from those people so you can implement those strategies yourself. But having somebody on your team that gets ads on a constant basis, if you're not with an ad agency, vitally important. Thinking outside the box, right? And like, how can you, now we're in a day and age where you have a platform that enables you to sell different products organically, whether it's merch, whether it's, a lot of people selling beverages now, whether it's like Prime Energy drink, right? Like, they about to make $1 billion off of that, right? From Logan Paul and them. So, and then of Shannon Sharp, he got his cognac that he always drinks at his episodes. It's an organically placed situation, but I'm sure he's making money from that. So just being creative, I think is extremely important. Keeping overhead low, right? Like, even Dame, shout out to Dame, but he made a comment about the production of the show, but a lot of people go broke because they try to overproduce. They don't have the money to come in to try to justify that, and before you know it, you're in the red. $10,000, $20,000, $30,000. You spend
in the red. Yep.
Spend all this money on production, but the money's not coming in.
Yeah.
So my thing has always been, keep expenses low, keep overhead low, right? Because quality is more important than production. You can always scale up. It's hard to scale down. It's hard to scale down, right? It's hard to start at, a studio with a chandelier and it looks crazy and it looks
4
like
camera setup, 8K,
and then you go to Zoom. But you can always start at Zoom. And then now I feel like the people who's getting the most views there's no production. When you look at Cenat, he's streaming. When you look at academics, he's streaming. There's no they might have a thing on the screen. There's no money that they're spending, literally. Yeah. Right. So be mindful of that as far as when you're starting your media company, is to keep overhead low, vitally important, and establish good relationships. Like, that's one thing that we've done is establish relationships with other people, other media companies. So whether that's, we've done stuff in the past with Revolt, Complex, we've done stuff in the past with, of course, Steve Harvey. That's a great relationship for us, an ongoing relationship for us. We've done stuff with United Masters, right? Different companies that complement your company, and now you can leverage them, they can leverage you, and it's a win-win. So that's a few tips.
But on a content creation, it's too much copying. Like, what areas do you think, spaces that you don't want to go into, that you think media companies need to fill? Because you can't win by being the 4th best financial literacy investing platform, etc. Like, what are some lanes that we should navigate into in terms of media if you want to build a company?
I think Mike has said something before that was pretty interesting, where he was like, the number one podcast genre on audio is true crime. Mm-hmm. Right. And he was like, I don't really see a lot of Black podcasts that are true crime podcasts, right? And it's like, we come from a lot of trauma in different communities across America that you can actually tell real stories, right? And people love the gangster chronicles anyway. So it's like, why not have like a true crime podcast, but on our twist, like a Black twist, right? With some real stories and tying people in. And don't got to be snitching because it's already public information, right? So you can kind of go through that, that's interesting, right? Stuff like that. Think outside the box. Cooking shows. I think, there's a few cooking shows, but I know the cooking reviews is going crazy right now.
Absolutely.
But I would like to see cooking shows. Just things that you're not necessarily just thinking about at vitally like politics. I think there needs to be more political shows that speak in a language that we can understand,
and that are honest too. Yeah,
for sure. And also educational. So yeah, that's a few.
Yeah, it's a good few. Yeah.
What do you think?
As big as basketball is, I would love to see somebody like a T-Mac or like that transition on how to get from high school, college to NBA. I know JJ and LeBron have their podcast that they're doing, but I think that's dope. And I think there needs to be more for like harder career paths, like becoming a lawyer, becoming a doctor, day in the life of like a police officer, to like show some of the border stuff is interesting. Cause like my thing is when I create something, I want to do opposite of what the field is doing. Even when people are like, yo, you going too far, you tripping. I'm like, well, at least you're going to trust me to be honest. Like I want to be polar opposite of what everyone else is doing. And that's why I have a lot of interest like internationally. Cause I think even in the podcasting space, everybody's setup looks the same. Content is the same. Everybody talking about the same thing. Like, I think you have to find the things that nobody's talking about and then travel there. So
before we leave, quick question.
Yeah.
All the major hip hop labels have pretty much been either acquired or destroyed over the last 15 years. Do you think that there's an asserted plan to attack or remove all of our legends from the music game?
I believe so. When you look at it, Jay Prince has been under attack. Suave House is no longer anymore. Suge's in jail. Diddy's going through what he's going through now. Irv is done. 50 Cent is done. Dr. Dre got acquired by Beats. Ruthless Records, Easy passed in a scandal. No more Def Jam, no more Def Jam South. So Def is no longer functioning. My thing is to study a pattern. And for all the music that's been made in our culture to not see any labels remain, I don't think that's any coincidence.
Well, I think there's new legends though, like Yo Gotti.
Shout to Gotti.
He's on fire right now.
Yeah.
Top Dog still doing his thing. They lost Kendrick, but they still doing his thing. QC, Quality Control.
This whole majority interest, right?
They did, but
yeah,
I mean,
I'm not mad at that. Yeah.
That was willingly. They willingly did that, right? As opposed to them trying to like. So, but they had a hell of a run. Coach K and P. So I think it goes both ways. I also think that it comes from a lack of people wanting to work with, like Jay-Z said, like you rather work for the man than to work with me.
Well, what happened when Jay Prince, Suge, Irv tried to get together to build that distribution? After that, they all went through hell. They tried.
No, but I'm saying as far as the artist, right? I think it's a thing where artists a lot of times be like, I'm not signing to him. I'd rather they have no problem signing to Universal. But if it's another artist, they look at it like I'm too big to sign to an artist, right?
Yeah.
But I mean, you thought of like Gucci Mane, he signed a bunch of art. All his artists have been in jail though. So I don't know how successful his label is. But then you also have the leaders who they've spiraled out of control. Like you look at Kanye, he had a great label. He had John Legend, Pusha T, Common, Tiana Taylor. But I mean, in order to be a label head, you gotta. It's hard to be the biggest person, the ego, the number one artist, and be the head of the label, right? Like it doesn't work. That's not a working formula usually.
Or did he start to spiral after control after they start to take all the shit away from him or try to or conspire to? Also, you got to be careful who you upset. As soon as he started getting into them conflicts with Kris Jenner, didn't go well. Mama started making them calls. Gotta be careful. You have to be careful. Yeah. So I just find it interesting, like, that even smaller companies and other industries can last long, but like all of our major figureheads have been taken out one way or another. I don't think that's a coincidence at all.
What happened? What's up with inside the NBA?
They're saying that the NBA rights are going to go to NBC, and if so, that show will be done. Now, I think that's an incredibly important asset. I think they'll get picked up somewhere, or if not, if they do a podcast or a show on their own, oh my God, through the roof. Especially if they start streaming and do it every night. Back to production costs, but I think they've built a chemistry that is unmatched. One of my favorite shows. But if those rights go to NBC, they're saying it could be over. Yeah.
You know, I think it's one of these things where new age media has disrupted and changed everything. Like, you know, it's changed what we've done in finance. It's changed, you know, sports. When you look at, you know, Bill Simmons and different Pat McAfee. And then on the black side, you know, you have Nightcap, you got Cameron and Mace, their show. It is what it is. Yeah. So yeah, I don't know how much longer any traditional media has left. I just feel like it's just, there's still like,
it's on the ropes. Yeah.
It's going to be harder, but eventually everything is going to fall apart. But I like those guys. I think that they're funny, but
absolutely.
If you don't own it, then
don't matter.
You're just an employee.
Yeah.
At the end,
don't make no diss record. I love you. Appreciate it.
No. I'm just saying, as far as, you know, you can't control it. If it's over, it's over, right? You have no control over it. No matter how successful it is, no matter how much you like it. If the boss says, "Yo, we pulling the plug on it," then the plug is pulled.
Reform, new name. Hopefully, they didn't sign a non-compete, and that'll be good. That'll be good.
Well, there you have.
Girl, how long you gonna let your girl be on a girls trip?
How long will I let her be on a girls trip?
Yeah,
I think
maybe I want to go out the country for 2 weeks.
Nah, I feel like, you know, most trips with a group of people usually last like 5 days. That's probably, you know, what they last for. But, you know, me, I'm not a jealous person and I'm not an insecure person. So I feel like if my girl was like, yo, I'm going out the country, if it's a, you know, you gotta like, yo, I'm me and my friend, we're gonna do this, we're gonna do that. Like, salute. Because I realized that by trying to keep your girl like in a box, that's not
at least a disaster.
At least that's the Catholic school strategy, right? Like parents put their kids in Catholic, specifically girls. They put their girls in Catholic schools, and they be the wildest ones because it's like they
Hail Mary's after school, ain't it?
They got restricted for so long, and now it's like they want a taste of freedom, right? So they going crazy. So, like I said, for me, I feel like, you know, if I've invested energy with a young lady, like, you know, I have trust in her to not embarrass herself and not embarrass me, right? And there's consequences.
You're a media icon of the year, yo. That shit, you Anthony Edwards with these answers, yo.
Right, man, you know, it's one of these things, man. It's like, you know, when I used to play basketball, I used to always say, like, you know, you're doing these drills and you're not touching the line, right? And the number one thing the coaches always used to say is like, you're not cheating the drill, you're cheating yourself.
Yourself, yeah.
You're cheating yourself, right? So I feel like if anybody, like, you know, because everything comes to light eventually. So if you try to scam me or run a game on me, you're not cheating me. You're cheating yourself.
Cheating yourself. Yep.
Because
reverse Ponzi.
What would have came, the rewards of would have came if you would have just been loyal, if you just would have been honest, if you just would have had transparency, if you just would have been a good person. The reward you can't even quantify. You can't even quantify what you would have been rewarded with, right? But only thing now, you just have to watch it on Instagram.
Yeah,
that's gonna hurt.
Painful too. Yeah, that's painful too.
It's gonna burn your soul every time. Every time you see me in Dubai, every time you see me out in Ghana, every time you see us, you know what I'm saying, at the White House, it's going to be a
different
burning hole. And then I'm going to have to get 3 paragraphs.
Oh, yeah. I can't believe, or how do we end up like this? You know how.
You played yourself. Congratulations. Don't text me. Don't text me 3 paragraphs. You played yourself. right?
Yeah.
But this happens over and over and over again. And it's not even just women, it's men in general. People burn bridges and then they like want to say like, yo, what happened? How, like, nah, like if you would
You were foul, that's what happened.
just be a good person, bro. So
Yeah.
I feel like for me, that's my number one rule in life. I tell, anybody like, don't embarrass yourself, don't embarrass me.
Yeah.
And life is easy. Like this is an easy life to live. Humans make it hard. Humans make it hard by doing dumb shit. If we just followed God's ordinance, we would not have problems at all. We would not have problems if we followed God's ordinance. But we tried to outslick the situation. And by doing that, when you play with fire, when you play with fire, you get burnt.
Yep. Stay solid.
Shout out to all the burn victims.
That's great. Burner boy.
Burner boy. The flame.
Crazy, yo.
Flame. With the flame graphic.
And fellas, keep leveling up. It hit different when you continue. If they see that you're working on you all the time, it'd be harder for them to want to leave. I see a lot of men be like, what can I do to da-da-da? Or it's like, you don't believe in you, so why should she believe in you? And you don't work on your shit every day. Like a lot of them problems become because you didn't set boundaries in the beginning. Be careful. And you can't expect nobody to be loyal to you if you're not loyal to yourself.
That's a fact. That's a fact. That is a major fact.
Yeah.
All right, my brother. Well,
all right, man. I appreciate it.
Appreciate it, man. Same time, same place next week. And remember, ladies and gentlemen, don't play yourself.
That ain't worth it.